Chen Sheng crossed the wilderness and became an innate human race, awakening the system of enlightenment. From now on, others eat while Chen Sheng cultivates. Others sleep while Chen Sheng cultivates. Others fight, Chen Sheng cultivates. Result. So many years have passed, yet he is still a cheap commodity. I can go to his master's place. What is the 3,000 Paths Enlightenment System? Just as Chen Sheng was feeling depressed, a girl impersonated Nua and destroyed his cave. If you were Nua, I would still be the ancestor of Hongjun Dao. Chen Sheng pointed down and Nua was exiled into the river of time. Nua. I was wrong, my Taoist friend. I am just a little palace maid in the Hua Palace. Keywords of the novel. Honghuang. The beginning of the game cries for Nua. Originally, I am mythical de luo without a pop-up window. Honghuang. The beginning of the game cries for Nua. Originally, I am mythical de luo. Download the complete text. Honghuang. The beginning of the game cries for Nua. Originally, I am mythical de luo. Read the latest chapter. Chapter 1. Through billions of years of cultivation, I have achieved great success as a Dalai Lama. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Through billions of years of cultivation, I have achieved great success as a Dalai Lama in the territory of the human race. On a small mountain next to Shouyang Mountain, a slightly lonely figure walked out of the cave, glanced at the sky, and couldn't help but sigh. This wasteland is not something that people treat. It's been so many years before I finally broke through to Dalai Lama. Chen Sheng originally did not belong to the wasteland world, but traveled to the wasteland during the time of the lich demon Liang Jia and Nua's creation. And by chance, they crossed over and became the first human race created by Nua, also known as the innate human race. He collapsed on the spot. Others traveling through time are either beating Hongjun ancestor or becoming innate divine, while I am actually just an innate human race. Fortunately, just as Chen Sheng was feeling depressed, the system appeared. Seeing Chen Sheng in the system, his heart suddenly became excited. The system he awakens is called the Great Enlightenment System. The so-called Great Way Understanding System is able to help Chen Sheng understand a great way at regular intervals. In the wilderness, there are 3,000 great roads, each road can prove its way. Hoi shot the sun as an arrow path. Nua created humans for the purpose of creating a great path of creation. The practice of blood sea by the ancestor of the Styx River is known as the Blood Sea Avenue. The master of the Tongtian sect's Jingzhu immortal sword formation is for swordsmanship. Laozi refined the 9 transformations golden pill, which is the path of alchemy. Chen Sheng thought to himself, is there something about the De Dao enlightenment system? After understanding the 3,000 great paths, one can make the past, present, and future merge into one, being the master of all beings and the endpoint of the Tao. It can become a true omniscient and omnipotent law of the Tao, with immortal consciousness and immortality. You should know that even sages are not omniscient and omnipotent. That is to say, if Chen Sheng could comprehend the 3,000 great paths, wouldn't it be even more impressive than a sage? With such thoughts in mind, Chen Sheng decided to first shut down and wait until he could sweep the floodplain before coming out to pretend. When the time comes, I will have 3,000 paths to enhance myself. In terms of fate, I can hang and beat Nua, in terms of swords, I can sweep through the sky, and in terms of alchemy, I can poison and kill Laozi. Chen Sheng also knows that the Tao cannot be achieved, and these are just empty talk. Immediately, he closed down with the idea of sweeping through the wilderness and began his sincere and daily cultivation. With the help of the Dao comprehension system, Chen Sheng steadily rose and was able to comprehend a Dao after a period of time. But 10 million years have passed, and Chen Sheng feels something is wrong. Is cultivation so slow? Although he felt something was wrong, Chen Sheng adhered to the spirit of never giving up and continued to cultivate. Others eat while Chen Sheng cultivates. Others sleep while Chen Sheng cultivates. Others fight, Chen Sheng cultivates. However, finally, after so many years, he is still just a big luo. The luo, in today's wilderness, is nothing. I can go to his master's house. What is the 3000 Avenues Enlightenment System? I know a little bit about the 3000 Avenues, but if this article doesn't turn into a martial art, I'm afraid any Deluo can turn me into a scumbag in seconds. Are you still omniscient and versatile? Isn't it just a cheap commodity? Chen Sheng looked helplessly into the distant void, feeling a sigh in his heart. Although Chen Sheng has never left the small mountain where he cultivates, it does not mean that he is ignorant of what is happening outside. The Suiren clan and Chen Sheng are both of the innate human race and occasionally come to visit Chen Sheng. From the mouth of the Suiren clan, Chen Sheng learned that now, it is the period of the Lich demon reign. The conflict between the witch and demon tribes has become increasingly intense. How can Chen Sheng not worry? As a traveler, how could Chen Sheng not know how dark the period of the Lich Wars was? The witch race is so powerful that it has disappeared into the long river of history. How strong are the demon clan Eastern Emperor Tai and Fushi? I almost achieved the position of a sage, but in the end, one died and another entered reincarnation. However, these are still quite distant for Chen Sheng, but the Lich Wars are definitely a devastating disaster for the human race. Gonggang's anger touches Mount Buzhou, it collapses, the sky and earth tilt, floods ravage, and the human race almost goes extinct. Then the Lich Wars, the heavens and earth collapsed, and the human race once again experienced a devastating blow. Chen Sheng sighed deeply, so only absolute strength can avoid risks. Nowadays, during the period of the Lich demon Kulpas, quasi-saints roam everywhere, and great lords are like dogs. If we go out now and get involved in a Lich demon scale robbery, we'll be dead and dead. Forget it, I've been struggling for so many years now, and I don't care about these 2 days anymore. Chen Sheng seemed to have that image in his mind, shook his head, and silently said. As long as he doesn't enter the world, no matter how intense the flames of war burn, it won't burn on him. With this idea in mind, Chen Sheng stretched lazily and willingly prepared to return to the cave to continue his cultivation. At this moment, 2 voices appeared outside Chen Sheng's cave. One is a burly man dressed in animal skin, with a fiery emblem on his forehead. The other one is a woman in a palace uniform. I saw that woman's skin was as smooth as cream, her appearance was as graceful as a swan, and her eyes seemed to contain all the mountains, rivers, and streams in the world. This woman is really beautiful, beautiful as if she is not an ordinary thing. She seemed to be born noble, as if she was born to look down upon all things in the world. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The Ordinary and Unusual Realm of Dalai Lama. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2, The Ordinary and Unusual Realm of Dalai Lama. These 2 people are the ancestors of the human race, the Suiren clan, and the Holy Mother of the human race, Nuwa. Nuwa came to the human race this time to collect human incense and refine treasures. When at Shouyang Mountain, Suiren carefully asked Nuwa, Holy Mother, our human race has a Taoist brother who has already attained the cultivation level of Tai Jingxian. Can you give us some guidance to help our human race gain more knowledge? Nowadays, the strongest of the human race is the 3 ancestors of the human race. The Sui, Suiren, and Yuchao clans have achieved heavenly merit and have all achieved golden immortal cultivation, which is considered very good among the innate human race. In the wilderness, the realms are divided into Earth Immortal, Heavenly Immortal, True Immortal, Xian, Jingxian, Tai Jingxian, and Daoyuo Jingxian. Jin Xian is really just a stronger ant in the wilderness. And the Great Luo Golden Immortal is a watershed in the wilderness. Once you enter the Great Luo, you can understand the laws and regulations, and sit on your side. So, the Suiren clan thought that if Nuwa could guide Chen Sheng into the Dalai Golden Immortal, wouldn't the human race have an additional guarantee? After listening to the words of the Suiren clan, Nyua's expression slightly changed and soon returned to normal. The human race cannot be considered very good in the wilderness. Being able to cultivate the golden immortal realm in such a short period of time seems that this person is indeed a malleable talent. Thinking of this, Nyua nodded slightly and said to the Swearen clan, "Anyway, I'll go give him some guidance. After all, I created the human race and was revered as the Virgin Mary by the human race, but I did not leave anything behind in the human race." Upon hearing Nyua's words, the Swearen clan was greatly excited and quickly took Nyua to Chen Sheng's secluded cave. Seeing the Swearen clan coming, Chen Sheng was actually a bit annoyed. This guy occasionally instigates him to go out and dominate the human race. Let him pass the level. Isn't this harming him? How dangerous is it in the wilderness? What can he do with his limited strength? However, this time the Swearen clan is not here alone, we still need to give him some face. Thinking of this, Chen Sheng only smiled and said, "Friend Dao, please come in." Swearen smiled and prepared to introduce Nyua to Chen Sheng. However, when Nyua looked at Chen Sheng, she frowned and said with a hint of surprise, "Deluo." Just now, when Nyua heard that this person was Tai Jin Xian, she was already a bit surprised, but now she realized that this person was actually in the realm of Deluo. It seems that the talent of this human race is truly incredible. Although the distance between Tai Jingxian and Daluo Jingxian is only a narrow line, it is like a heavenly moat. The human race was created by Nyua, so Nyua never believed that any human race could reach the level of Deluo Jingxian. That's why she was particularly surprised at this moment. Swearen is a bit confused, what? Deluo Jingxian. After reacting, Swearen was overjoyed. In this way, wouldn't their human race also have Deluo Jingxian sitting here? The Swearen clan exclaimed excitedly, "Chen Daoyu, now that you have broken through to the Daluo Golden Immortal, our human race has Daluo Golden Immortal sitting here. Shouldn't we no longer have to be bullied?" Chen Sheng looked at Swearen Shi and Nyua like a fool, just a big luo. What's so exciting? Besides, he won't pass the level. Chen gave the two a pale glance and slowly said, "Look at your unseen appearance. In the wilderness, what is the realm of Dalai?" Then, Chen Sheng sighed and continued, "Although I am waiting to prove the unity of the past, future, and present, standing on the river of time, wielding the 3,000 avenues, the immortal spirit, and the immortal consciousness." Wait. Although the Swearen clan is not in the realm of Daluo, they always feel that there is something wrong. Is this specifically referring to the realm of Dalai Lama? Does he have any misunderstandings about the realm of Dalai Lama? 3,000 avenues. In the wilderness, it is well known that only the Great Luo Golden Immortal can touch the surface of a path, and what is it that the Great Luo has mastered the 3,000 great paths? You can't bully me just because I'm stupid. Swearen looked bewildered and said to Chen Sheng, "Daoyu, are you probably joking?" Nyua also looked at Chen Sheng with some displeasure. Why is this nonsense related to the human race? Standing on the river of time. Is the past, present, and future all three in one? Shou San Qian de Dao. Is true spirit immortal and consciousness immortal? Is this the realm of Dalai Lama? Shi, Nyua. As a saint, you don't have to be so awesome, do you? How dare this person say it? Chen Sheng gave Swearen a strange glance and said seriously, "Didn't you hear me say, although? Although the realm of Dalai is already good, it is still not worth mentioning in front of the sage." Nyua's mouth twitched. How did she create a brain salvage? Is the realm of Deluo immortal and immortal? It's simply ridiculous. Chen Sheng ignored the caring eyes of Nyua and the Swearen clan towards intellectually disabled children, and continued with a sigh on his face, saying, "The realm of the Great Luo is still the lowest level in the wilderness. Nowadays, the Great Luo is like a dog, and quasi-saints are walking everywhere. There are really many dangers in the wilderness. The Suiren clan was devastated by Chen Sheng's words and said in a stunned voice, "Friend Dao, are you afraid you have any misunderstandings about the Honghuang?" Chen Sheng looked sympathetically at the Suiren clan and said to them, "Are you afraid you have been deceived?" Suiren clan. Nyua couldn't help but feel a little displeased. As a saint, she even lowered her status to guide a small Deluo Jin Xian, who was still talking crazy here. Shou San Qian de Dao. Not to mention the 3,000 great paths, even as a saint, Nyua only understood the path of creation. We're still a little short of control. And this yellow-haired child dares to speak freely. Shut up, ignorant child. How dare you make up things here? Do you think you have good qualifications and can be lawless? Nyua frowned and scolded with a slightly angry expression. End of this chapter. Chapter 3 Chen Sheng. If you were Nyua, then I would be Hongjun. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Chen Sheng. If you were Nyua, then I would be Hongjun. Chen Sheng couldn't help but frown when he heard what Nyua was saying. Why is the little girl brought by the Suiren clan so unruly? Chen Sheng's gaze fell on Nyua and he looked up and down. This little girl looks pretty, why is she so arrogant? Isn't what he said well known to everyone? This girl doesn't even know these things. With such limited knowledge, how dare she speak wildly? The Suiren clan saw that Chen Sheng not only didn't bow his head in front of Nyua, but also dared to look at Nyua with such eyes. They were almost scared and went to report to the stick's ancestor. He knelt down for Chen Sheng. If he dared to speak to Nyua like this, Chen Sheng might be the first person in the wilderness. Suiren wiped the cold sweat off her forehead, afraid that Chen Sheng might do something inappropriate and blame Nyua. She quickly introduced Nyua to Chen Sheng and said, "Friend Dao, this is." However, before Suiren could finish speaking, Chen Sheng directly retorted, "I'm making up a mess. I'm an ignorant child. You're not a strong girl, and your tone is quite impressive. Even if you have shallow knowledge, it's okay. You dare to point fingers at others. Just like you, I'm afraid you won't be able to survive in the wilderness for 3 days." The Suiren clan, who spoke to him, was once again clever. His soul is almost scared away. Who will save him? What is Chen Sheng talking about? Nyua's strength is not strong, her knowledge is shallow, and she only lived in the wilderness for 3 days. Is Chen Sheng serious? Nyua is a saint, who is supreme in the wilderness, the pinnacle of all living beings, and an existence that can be destroyed by lifting her hand. Chen Sheng dared to speak rudely and look down upon the sage so much. Do you think you've lived too long? Still don't want to see the sun tomorrow? The Suiren clan couldn't help but send a sympathetic look to Chen Sheng. Does it mean that their human race has just produced a Deluo Jin Xian and is about to disappear? Looking at Suiren's gaze, Chen Sheng asked, "What's wrong? Do you have any eye problems, Taoist friend? This needs to be treated quickly." Suiren clan soldier. Nyua was a bit angry when she saw Chen Sheng's arrogant appearance. She is a saint, only to be humiliated by the words of a mere human race. The power of the sage cannot be violated. Humph, yellow-haired child, your words are speechless. Today, I will discipline you well. After speaking, Nyua's expression was clear and she extended a finger from afar. That may seem like a weak finger, but in an instant, it made the pressure cover the entire Shouyang mountain. The ordinary human race on Shouyang mountain are complaining incessantly, and flowers, plants, and trees are also suffering from devastation. And this is just the beginning. As Nyua's finger fell, the laws of heaven began to change, and a fierce pressure surged towards Chen Sheng. The entire space was deformed by Nyua's powerful power. Nyua withdrew her fingers and stood with her hands down, looking calmly at the scene before her. Her finger was not something that Deluo could resist. Although it wouldn't take Chen Sheng's life, it was enough to give this Deluo some suffering. Nyua looked forward to the arrogant and weak human kneeling in front of her, begging for mercy. The Suiren clan was so scared by this sudden scene that they almost wet their pants. He was just a small golden fairy, where could the words of the Nyua sage be inserted? The Suiren clan stared blankly at this scene, wondering if the great Luo golden immortal of the human race was about to disappear. He felt like crying without tears. Although Chen Sheng had a mental illness, at least he was Deluo. Now, with Nyua personally taking action, Chen Sheng's iron is definitely gone. It's just that, who made Chen Sheng yawn? Having offended Empress Nyua, one can only admit to being unlucky. Nyua glanced at the Suiren clan and understood their thoughts. She said calmly, I'm just teaching this guy a lesson. I dare not speak so recklessly. If I go any further, I don't know what kind of trouble it will cause for the human race. Not dead. Suiren silently wiped away her sweat and taught her a lesson, as long as she didn't die. As soon as Nyua finished speaking, the hill in front of her collapsed and smoke and dust began to rise. She watched the scene and smiled contentedly. But soon, Nyua couldn't laugh anymore. Because Chen Sheng stood well in place, even his hair was not messy. On the contrary, the cave and small mountain behind Chen Sheng were directly destroyed by the power of the sage. Ah! This where exactly is the problem with this? Nyua was somewhat shocked and couldn't help but doubt herself. Is it because I didn't have enough strength just now? Suiren glanced at Chen Sheng and then at Nyua, and he realized. The Empress is indeed kind-hearted and soft-hearted. She said she was going to teach Chen Daoyu a lesson, but only destroyed Chen Daoyu's cave. Thank you very much for your mercy. The Suiren clan was flattering Nyua while thanking her for her mercy. Nyua's mouth twitched, and her face couldn't hang. Who knows how hard she put in just now? How did she know that Chen Sheng could still stand there so well? But since she has already been stepped down, she cannot dismantle her own stage, can she? So Nyua neither admitted nor denied it, she just looked at Chen Sheng with a hint of exploration in her eyes. This Deluo is a bit strange. Chen Sheng turned his head to see that the small mountain he was cultivating was gone, and his face turned pale with anger. At least I have been practicing in this place for so many years and have developed feelings, but this girl slapped me without saying a word. How could Chen Sheng not be angry? He pointed directly at Nyua's nose and angrily scolded. You crazy woman. Saying you're fat, you're really panting, right? Here's some color for you. Do you want to open a dyeing room? My hair is long and my knowledge is short. I won't argue with you. How dare you still face me with your nose? Chen Sheng spoke one sentence after another, and couldn't even get in touch with Nyua. He was so angry that his 7 orifices were filled with smoke. She's Nyua. You are a saint. No one dares to insult themselves like this. Even before failing to become a saint, how had she ever been so insulted? Nyua was furious and sneered, human race, you are truly extremely brave. In the entire wilderness, you are the first one to dare to insult me like this. Chen Sheng rolled his eyes and said with a disdainful expression, you still claim to be your true self. I'll go with you, won't I? You deserve it too. Nyua became angry and decided to reveal her identity to let Chen Sheng know that she regretted what she had just said. Nyua raised her head and looked down at Chen Sheng, saying, ignorant child, I know who you are talking to. I am Nyua, not only a saint, but also the mother of the human race. After listening to Nyua's words, Chen Sheng laughed angrily. It seems that this girl is not only arrogant, but her brain is also not very useful. Surprisingly impersonating Nyua in front of him. Is Nyua so weak? Does she know what she's talking about? Return to Nyua. It's so hilarious. Nyua looked at Chen Sheng's disdainful smile and felt that Chen Sheng's reaction was not quite right. Shouldn't he be so scared that he knelt down and begged for mercy? So, Nyua couldn't help but frown and ask, "What are you laughing at?" Chen Sheng restrained his smile and said with a contemptuous expression, "Little girls from all walks of life, don't study well in a day. If Nyua were as weak as you, she would have committed suicide long ago. If you were Nyua, why would I return to Hongjun Daozu?" End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Reset Time, Nyua Counseled. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Reset Time, Nyua Counseled. Originally, the Swearen clan was already grateful that Nyua had let Chen Sheng go, but Chen Sheng shelled Nyua again, which scared him almost to the point of despair. Swearen sure only felt a bit weak in his legs. Not to mention in front of the sage, even in front of a great luo like Chen Sheng, he didn't even fart. He felt like he was impulsive. If he had known these two people would pick each other up, he shouldn't have let Empress Nyua come to guide Chen Sheng. This should be the most wrong decision he has ever made in his life. Chen Sheng angered Nyua, and Nyua's destruction of Chen Sheng was a small matter. If we were to vent our anger on the human race, it would not be worth the loss. The human race is weak, not to mention being like ants in front of saints. Even if Nyua doesn't argue with the human race, how can the human race, without Nyua's protection, stand firm in the wilderness? The Swearen clan is currently suffering unbearably. He has a heart to persuade others, but one is a big shot in the realm of Dalai, and the other is a saint in the wilderness. How could he, as a golden immortal, get in the way? After listening to Chen Sheng's mockery, Nyua was furious beyond exhaustion. Ha! How dare you question her identity as Nyua? How can Nyua tolerate this? Nyua looked at Chen Sheng with cold eyes and gritted her teeth, saying, "You fools, I don't know what it means." Chen Sheng is too lazy to talk to Nyua anymore. In Chen Sheng's opinion, this girl is just having a brain problem. Chen Sheng glanced at the small mountain that had been burned down and said with some heartache, "What about Nyua? Her path is so shallow that she can't even control her own strength. If saints are all like you, then don't even live." As he spoke, Chen Sheng looked down upon this girl even more. How could Nyua not control the power that even Chen Sheng and the luo could control? This girl's acting skills are a bit clumsy. Nyua laughed to death. A noble saint, who is said to be unable to control his own power. Nyua sneered and mocked, the ignorant human race, that was a blow from the sage. Chen Sheng is a bit impatient. Is this Nima still a saint? It's not over, is it? Gone. This woman is sick. Chen Sheng rolled his big eyes and roast. Then, he glanced at the broken mountain and said helplessly, "Oh, I have to come by myself." After speaking, Chen Sheng waved casually. Immediately, the laws of the Tao vibrated, and time began to backtrack. Before Nyua could react, almost in the blink of an eye, the small mountain had already returned to its original state. On the small mountain, birds sing and flowers are fragrant, leisurely and comfortable, with no trace of combat. Nyua. What happened? Just now, she actually felt the fluctuations of the long river. Time has been reset. The traces of her actions have also been completely erased. She is a saint. How strong is it to be able to erase the traces of the sage's action? It's unbelievable. Swearen sure was completely stunned. Although he was just a golden immortal, he also had some doubts. Is this something that the luo could do? And Nyua was completely stunned. This is the power of the Great Way. Nyua swallowed her saliva with some difficulty. As a saint, she is very familiar with this power. However, the person in front of me is only in the realm of Dalai, why can I use the power of the Tao? Is it true that as the person said, he has mastered 3,000 great paths, stood on the river of time, and will not die or be destroyed? Thinking of this, Nyua began to feel some fear. How could a person who can reset time and effortlessly erase a saint's blow be weaker than his Enua? Enua began to doubt whether this seemingly inconspicuous and talkative Deluo was actually a hermit with great power. At this moment, Enua had a desire to retreat. However, before Enua could break the deadlock, Chen Sheng had already seen through Enua's attempt and spoke up. Taoist friend, I, Chen Sheng, have never offended anyone. You broke into my door, destroyed my bridal chamber, humiliated me, and then planned to leave like this. This is in the midst of chaos, isn't there such a cheap thing? Suiren Shi was a bit confused at the time. Upon hearing what Chen Sheng meant, did Empress Enua plan to run away? Ah bah, are you planning to leave? And leave? Her own purpose was exposed on the spot, and Enua couldn't come down and couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed and angry. She was born a saint, never so embarrassed. However, as a saint, Enua quickly calmed down and frowned, saying, Friend Dao, there is something else going on in the Hua Palace. I will visit again another day. What? The Suiren clan was devastated by Enua's words. Does Enua refer to Chen Sheng as a Taoist friend and still call herself Wu in front of Chen Sheng? Isn't this acknowledging that Chen Sheng and Enua are on equal footing? Who is Enua? That's a saint, the mother of the human race. Nowadays, even calling an innate human race a Taoist friend has completely refreshed the three views of the Suiren clan. Enua didn't care about Suiren's opinion, she just felt a chill in her back and wanted to leave this place quickly. Li Xian saw the situation, but narrowed his eyes and calmly spoke up. Stop. Did you let go? Enua was taken aback for a moment. Is this human race determined to oppose him? Let's just forget about destroying my dojo. And you said you were the Empress Enua, why do I look like a fool? Go to your second uncle's house. Chen Sheng couldn't help but curse profusely. At this moment, the Suiren clan is eager to dig an underground hole and drill in. He should be under the car, not inside. The two powerful figures confronted each other, and as a minor figure, the Suiren clan was very frightened. Since Enua is already ready to leave, let Enua leave. What is Chen Sheng doing? Enua was extremely angry, but she could only grit her teeth and say, What do you want, Taoist friend? Li Xian is a rational person and said straightforwardly, How about you just pointed at me and I also gave you a finger? Enua laughed angrily on the spot. Who do you look down on? At least as a saint, Enua couldn't bear a finger from Li Xian. Enua sneered and said disdainfully, then I'll take your finger. She is at least a saint, how can she fear the finger of Dalai Lama? If it were to be spread, Enua would be frightened by a big luo and run away. How could she still have prestige in the future in the wilderness? Chen Sheng nodded in satisfaction when he saw Enua agreeing. Although the girl was arrogant, she still had some sense of responsibility. Just give her a lesson. Chen Sheng gently raised his hand and pointed him. Enua and Suiren were both stunned, nothing happened. Then, a moment later, after Enua's reaction, she froze in place. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Exile Enua to the River of Time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Exile Enua to the River of Time. Enua seems to be standing in place, but in fact, she is no longer there. Her true spirit came into a magnificent and surging river. The river washed away from her body, but it went straight through her body. She could not perceive the existence of the wilderness and the heavenly way, nor could she mobilize any force, just like the power of her own sage disappeared out of thin air. Enua didn't know where she was or what time it was. She can hear people talking, but cannot touch anything, nor can she hear any sound. The senses of hearing, touch, smell, and taste all seem to have disappeared, leaving only visual perception. However, she can see the passage of time, the changes of time, and the changes of stars in the surging river. It's like falling into one unreal dream after another, but she's always just a spectator. Unable to take action, unable to change, unable to integrate. She only existed there for a moment when she injured the Buddha, but it felt like she had passed a quantitative tribulation. In such a situation where she can't move, speak, or have any perception while watching time pass by, even as a saint, the female snail is almost on the verge of collapse. She couldn't even determine if she really existed, not just for a long time. Nuwa, it seems that she knows where this is. Is this the legendary river of time? Nuwa was fortunate to have heard that there is a realm of transcendence above the sage. It means transcending the heavenly way, combining the past and present, standing in the river of time, mastering 3,000 great paths, with immortal consciousness and immortal true spirit. Being able to exile her into the long river of time is not a transcending realm. Nuwa is crying. Are you a superpower beyond the realm, pretending to be a Dalai Lama? Is it fun? Is there still time for her to admit her mistake now? On Shouyang Mountain, Suiren Shi looked at Chen Sheng and then at Nuwa, but still couldn't understand the situation. It is obvious that at this time, the Suiren clan did not know that Nuwa had been exiled to the river of time by Chen Sheng. After thinking for a moment, Suiren slowly moved up to Chen Sheng and earnestly said to him, "Fortunately, you didn't actually take action, otherwise no one could have saved you, but..." Chen Sheng looked at Suiren Shi like an idiot and interrupted her words, saying, "What hasn't been done yet? She has already been exiled by me." What? What kind of thing has already been exiled? Isn't this goddess Nuwa easy to stand here? Chen Sheng is afraid that he is thinking of farting. Nuwa is a saint, how could she be exiled? Unfortunately, with such a great luo, why is his brain not very useful? The Suiren clan wanted to persuade Chen Sheng not to have any wild thoughts. Amir de Luo actually provoked Nuwa. Isn't it good to live? Just before Suiren could speak, she realized something was wrong. Why did Empress Nuwa remain motionless? Suiren cautiously walked up to Nuwa and tentatively said, "Nuwa nyang nyang." However, Nuwa remained motionless. Suiren is confused. Why is this Nuwa and the wolf so strange? Can it be said that Empress Nuwa was really exiled by Chen Sheng? Nuwa is a saint, while Chen Sheng is just a great luo. The difference between them is not just millions of miles. The luo exiled the sage. How could this Nima be possible? Suiren instinctively shook her head, unable to believe it. Noticing the title of the Suiren clan, Chen Sheng sneered and said, "Do you still call her Nuwa nyang nyang nyang? You're afraid she brainwashed you too, right? With her shallow strength, you still call her Nuwa. Are you afraid of making people laugh when you say it out loud?" Suiren was scared, that's the real Nuwa Empress. What exactly is Chen Daoyu talking about? Chen Sheng didn't notice the honey expression on Dao Suiren's face and continued, "Besides, I've already told you she's been exiled by me. What you're seeing now is just her body." Did Chen Sheng really exile Nuwa? Standing in front of me is the body of Empress Nuwa. He, a great luo, actually exiled Empress Nuwa. Who dares to believe this? However, it cannot be tolerated that the Suiren clan does not believe it. Because the eyes of Empress Nuwa in front of her were dilated and unconscious, it was obvious that the true spirit was no longer in her body. Suiren feels that this world has gone crazy. Nuwa is the holy mother of the human race, the supreme saint, but was exiled by Chen Sheng. As a member of the innate human race, Bai Ling has been living here for so many years, yet he never realized that this guy who spends his days practicing in seclusion in the cave is actually a peerless master. What kind of realm is it to be able to exile saints? Suiren couldn't help but doubt herself. Was it so simple to exile the sage? Chen Sheng didn't notice Suiren's self-doubting gaze and continued with some sighs. "We, the luo, may seem powerful, but in fact, we are just a drop in the ocean amidst the chaos. If we step out of the chaos, we will be instantly killed. I did this to give this girl a good memory. After all, in the midst of the chaos, she is so crazy that she is easily beaten when going out. As a person, it's better to be low-key. After speaking, Chen Sheng patted the shoulder of the Daoren family like an old cadre. The Suiren clan is now numb. It's better to be low-key. Why didn't I feel your low-key? Besides, Goddess Nyua. Is it easy to get beaten out of the wilderness? Are you sure you know what you're talking about? Forget it, you have strong abilities and everything you say is right. At this moment, the Suiren clan was already hesitant and asked cautiously, so, Chen Daoyu, where did you actually exile Empress Nyua? Chen Sheng glared at Suiren Shi. The guy who hasn't made any progress, no wonder he has only been cultivating as a golden immortal for so many years. Chen Sheng raised his eyebrows and repeated with some displeasure, do you still want to see Empress Nyua? Under Chen Sheng's pressure, the Suiren family had to apologize to Nyua in their hearts while carefully changing their words and saying, so. That old wolf. Chen Sheng nodded in satisfaction as he saw Suiren change his mind and said, I have exiled you to the river of time, but this sister-in-law is quite quick to react. Is that why she started struggling? Suiren only felt a cold sweat coming from behind. Can you stop saying such scary things with such a calm expression? Also, what the hell is the river of time? This is really beyond the cognitive scope of the Suiren clan. On the other hand, after realizing it, Nyua began desperately searching for a breakthrough. Nyua didn't believe it. As a saint, she would really be trapped in the river of time. She began to constantly shuttle through the river of time, hoping to find a way out of it. Nyua looked at the dazzling scene before her, shook her head, and took a step out. If she guessed correctly, this should be the end of the river of time, right? End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Trapped in the river of time, Nyua cries. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Trapped in the river of time, Nyua cries. Nyua chuckled lightly. Even if she could be trapped for a moment, what would happen? As a saint, did she still find a way to leave the river of time? We have reached the end of the river of time. As long as we tear through this barrier, Nyua can break free from the river of time. Thinking of this, Nyua nodded in satisfaction. Then, she touched the end of the river of time with her hands, attempting to tear open a gap. But she forgot that now almost all of her senses are banned, and she cannot utilize the power of the heavenly way. Therefore, she went straight through. Nyua frowned and unexpectedly discovered that Chen Sheng had not banned her 5 senses. The reason why Nyua lost her 4 senses is because she was exiled to the long river of time and was only in the realm of a saint. Only people like Chen Sheng, who have integrated the past, present, and future, can stand in the river of time. After realizing this issue, Nyua was somewhat frustrated. She forced herself to calm down and seriously consider what else she had not tried. On the small hill of Shouyang Mountain, Suiren's heart was a bit worried about Nyua, and she couldn't help but secretly poke and ask, Chen Daoyu, that Nyua Empress. Realizing that she had said the wrong thing, Suiren immediately changed her tone and said, I mean, that girl is trapped in the river of time, isn't it okay? What exactly is this river of time? Chen Sheng's eyes were a bit profound, but after thinking for a moment, he explained to the Suiren clan, the river of time has engraved the past, present, and even future between heaven and earth. It encompasses the lives of millions of creatures in the wilderness, as well as the changing and evolving scenes of the entire world. Therefore, it can also be called the river of time. As for that little girl. Without my permission, how could he get out with his shallow feet? Suiren Shi had a partial understanding, but also roughly understood the terrifying aspects of the long river of time. The Suiren clan is just a small human race, never knowing that there is such a terrifying place in the wilderness. Now listening to Chen Sheng's words, I understand how small his situation is. Immediately, I couldn't help but start worrying about Nyua. It's unbelievable that a river of time can trap a saint. What surprised the Swearen clan even more was how Chen Sheng casually portrayed it. The river of time is already so impressive. What kind of strength is Chen Sheng able to control the river of time? Previously, the Swearen clan didn't know that Chen Sheng was so strong. Trap a saint casually. Is this Nima too rebellious? Under the ravages of the power of time, Nyua's face turned a bit pale. Can this river of time still be flawless? Wait, although her power is gone, can she summon magic treasures? Thinking of this, Nyua decided to give it a try. As expected, Nyua summoned the map of mountains, rivers, and kingdoms. The mountain, river, and country map is one of the top quality innate spiritual treasures. In this picture, there is heaven and earth that nourish heaven and humanity, and can transform and produce all things, making it a precious treasure. Even saints can be trapped in this map of mountains, rivers, and kingdoms. From this, it can be seen that this thing is powerful. When Nyua saw the picture of mountains, rivers, and kingdoms, her heart immediately became calm. She immediately urged Shanha Shejitu to forcefully tear open a gap at the end of the river of time. Seeing the opening of the river of time, Nyua breathed a sigh of relief. Humph, just a long river of time, also want to trap me. After speaking, she immediately stepped out from the opening of the river of time, eagerly waiting for herself to return to the wilderness. However, to her surprise, she did not return to the wilderness. Instead, after a bright light flashed by, she was surprised to find that she had returned to the river of time. The river of time flows endlessly, full of the power of time. Once you enter the river of time, you will always stay here. Only by becoming a transcendent realm can one stand on the river of time. Seeing herself appearing again in the river of time, Nyua was stunned. However, she remained unconvinced and believed that the mountain, river, and country map was not a weapon for killing and would have no effect, so she immediately offered the red embroidery ball again. Red embroidery ball is also one of the top quality innate spiritual treasures, which is left on the Fenbao rock and has great power. No matter how much power you have, there is no escape, and if you get caught, you will die, and even your physical body and spirit cannot be preserved. This is also one of Nyua's trumps, she won't easily take it out. But in the current situation, she can't care much anymore. I saw Nyua throwing a red embroidered ball, and the ball began to shine brightly. Nyua's eyes showed a glimmer of hope, but after a moment, it dimmed again. The red embroidered ball cannot withstand the power of time in this long river of time. Nyua began to despair, she shouldn't have been against Chen Sheng. Is there still time for her to regret now? Chen Sheng sensed that Nyua had no choice but to sneer and said, "Oh. Giving up so quickly." Chen Sheng raised his eyebrows, thinking that Nyua would persist for a while longer. So this won't work. Swearen sure was a bit confused, and now his three views have been shattered by Chen Sheng. He couldn't help but feel some sympathy for Nyua. Chen Sheng didn't feel much and said calmly, with her shallow feet, "At best she's just a palace maid in the Wa Palace. How dare she impersonate a saint?" Swearen was startled and asked with a slightly trembling voice, "Palace? Palace maid?" Tang Tang Nyua sage, surprisingly recognized as a palace maid. Can you be a person? What are these things? Isn't Empress Nyua here to guide Chen Sheng? Why is it Nyua who is being exiled now? Chen Sheng didn't pay attention to the expression on Dao Sueren's face and continued to say indifferently, "Not bad," would the sage cry and cry when he couldn't think of a way out. What else does Chen Dao Yu say? Nyua Nyang is a saint, how could she cry? However, the Sueren clan did not have the courage to speak up. Nowadays, his fear of Chen Sheng is greater than that of Nyua. If it weren't for what he saw with his own eyes, he would never have believed that someone could really exile a saint. The Sueren clan is now numb. Who am I? Where am I? What to eat tonight? However, in the long river of time Nyuwa really cried. Suiren believes that a sage in the hall will cry because he cannot understand the feeling of being trapped in the river of time, only able to watch everything happen, but unable to touch it. Under the torment of the power of time, Nyuwa almost suffered a mental breakdown. Although only a moment had passed, Nyuwa felt as if she had passed several more tribulations. Looking back on the time she had spent in the long river of time, Nyuwa couldn't help but shed tears on her face. Nyuwa was thinking, why on earth couldn't she think of provoking Chen Sheng? Is she wrong? Let her go, okay? Please. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Nyuwa confesses mistakenly, is she a palace maid? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Nyuwa confesses mistakenly, is she a palace maid? Looking at the endless river of time, Nyuwa felt a sense of powerlessness in her heart. She began to regret it. Coming to the world to collect incense was the most wrong decision she made. She is a dignified saint of Nyuwa, highly respected in the wilderness, but now she is trapped here and unable to move a single step. This great Luo was so skilled that he surrounded a sage in this long river of time. The more Nyuwa thought about it, the more she felt wronged. Without the blessing of the heavenly way, she was now like an ordinary little girl, tears streaming out uncontrollably. She suppressed her sadness, wiped away her tears, didn't cry, we can't cry, we are saints. Nyuwa swore that if she could leave the river of time, she would never go against that pig-eating tiger guy. Can't you afford it, can't you still avoid it? But how should we leave? Now she has thought of all the ways she can, even using the map of mountains and rivers and the red embroidered ball, but still cannot leave this long river of time. In Nyuwa's eyes, a last glimmer of hope flashed. Do we need to use that method? Under duress, she decided to use the sage's strongest trump card, the sage's fruit. The fruit of the sage's path is the result obtained by the sage when he obtains the position of the sage's fruit, and it is the strongest trump card and counter scale for the sage. There is really no other way for Nyuwa to think of using the sage Daogua. But when Nyuwa felt that she had found hope, reality gave her a hard blow. How can we utilize the fruit of the sage's way when we cannot even feel it? Nyuwa is completely hopeless. On the other side, Suiren was very worried about Nyuwa in her heart, so she cautiously asked, Chen Daoyu, I want to ask Nyuwa's maid. Is there no danger? How can she come out? Chen Sheng glanced at Suiren and said calmly, oh, I have exiled her past, future, and present. As long as I don't want to, that palace maid will never come back. Although the Suiren clan didn't know what the past, present, and future were all three, looking at Chen Sheng's calm expression, he was very speechless. As soon as she thought it was Empress Nyuwa who was being exiled, the Suiren clan felt a little anxious and had to plead for help, saying, Chen Daoyu, I believe that Empress Nyuwa. The palace maid was also unintentional. How long do you plan to exile her? After thinking for a moment, Chen Sheng said calmly, I think time is also around. Suiren breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Chen Sheng imprisoned Empress Nyuwa for a few words. He knew that how could Chen Sheng really want to go against Empress Nyuwa? It seems that the situation is still within the scope of being salvageable. Unexpectedly, Chen Sheng continued, the river of time, as the name suggests, is that we have only passed for a moment here, but a little girl seems to have experienced several tribulations. So, it's almost time to let her go. After all, watching time pass by helplessly is truly painful. Suiren sure. He's confused. Is love like Nyuwa already in the river of time, experiencing several tribulations? As Chen Sheng finished speaking, with a wave of his hand, a picture of Nyuwa being exiled in the river of time appeared in the air. Nyuwa had already fallen into despair, and when she looked up, she saw the phantom of Chen Sheng and the Suiren clan. A glimmer of hope flashed in her eyes, could she finally leave here? Suiren looked at the haggard Nuwa and was very surprised. As a saint, Empress Nuwa has always been aloof, but now it feels like she has experienced some inhumane torture. At this moment, Empress Nuwa's hair was slightly disheveled, and her white palace attire had a few more cuts, leaving her completely disheveled. Chen Sheng looked at Nuwa, who was like frost-beating eggplants, and nodded in satisfaction. A reckless little girl like this should give her a good lesson. After seeing Chen Sheng and the Suiren clan, Nuwa reacted for a moment and then firmly said to Chen Sheng, "Friend Dao, it was my rudeness earlier. I apologize to you. She doesn't want to be trapped in this river of time anymore. As long as she can leave the river of time, apologizing is nothing." Chen nodded. It seemed that his lesson had taken effect. He continued solemnly, "Do you dare to impersonate a saint again in the future?" Nuwa. Suiren sure. Suiren sure listened to Chen Sheng's words and silently wiped away her sweat. She is really the Empress Nuwa. However, he only dared to mutter a few words in his heart and dared not argue with Chen Sheng at all. Suiren carefully glanced at Nuwa, afraid that Nuwa would continue to choke on Chen Sheng. Unexpectedly, Nuwa let out a deep sigh and said wearily, "I dare not, I will never impersonate Nuwa again." Originally, as a saint, Nuwa would never be able to express such shame. But now she really doesn't want to stay in the river of time for a second, so she has to admit that she is not Nuwa. After experiencing the long river of time, she fully recognized reality. What he said is what he said. If he's not a saint, then he's not a saint. At this moment, Nuwa just wants to leave the river of time quickly. And when Suiren heard Nuwa's words, she almost exploded in place. What? Empress Nuwa admits with her own mouth that she is not Empress Nuwa. This thing is too social. The Suiren clan has suffered too much upon seeing Nuwa say this. Chen Sheng nodded in satisfaction and said, "Not bad, not bad. It's a good thing to know your mistake and change it. Nuwa is numb, what if she can't beat them?" Immediately after, Chen Sheng waved his hand and Nuwa left the river of time. After Nuwa left the river of time, she felt extremely embarrassed looking at Chen Sheng and the Suiren family in front of her. She felt like she had been thrown out of the wilderness. After being stunned for a few seconds, Nuwa decisively turned her head and ran away. It's not that I'm afraid Chen Sheng will regret it, but mainly because it's really embarrassing. As a saint of Nuwa Hall, she was actually exiled into the river of time. Can you believe it when you say this? Watching Empress Nuwa turn around and leave, Suiren was once again shocked. As he reacted, his gaze towards Chen Sheng became somewhat unusual. What kind of realm does this Nima have to be able to banish the powerful Empress Dowager Nuwa and ultimately force her to apologize and admit that she is not Nuwa? This must be a reclusive saint, even more powerful than Empress Nuwa. Suiren feels like she's doing it again. After all, this reclusive sage has also pretended to be a born human and stayed in Shouyang Mountain for so many years. Can't he just watch the human race be bullied? And this sage is also low-key and easy to talk about, isn't she much better than the towering Nuwa Empress? Thinking so, Suiren's eyes lit up as she looked at Chen Sheng. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. A common weed, is Nuwa emotional? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. A common weed, is Nuwa emotional? Suiren has an idea. He wants to ask Chen Sheng to protect the human race. If a powerful human race like Chen Sheng could protect the human race, wouldn't the human race be on a level ground? But I thought I had been rejected by Chen Sheng several times before, and the Suiren clan was so cowardly. After hesitating for a while, the Suiren family finally spoke up and said, "Well, Chen Daoyu, we have been living next to each other for so many years. If I ask you something, wouldn't you refuse?" Chen Sheng glanced at Suiren Shi and immediately understood her suggestion. If you let me leave the border to protect the human race, there's no need to speak up. Chen Sheng directly rejected the Suiren clan. Suiren rubbed his hands awkwardly, but he didn't say anything yet. In fact, we cannot blame Chen Sheng. After all, this is the reason why Chen Sheng is unwilling to deal with the Suiren clan. The Suiren clan gave up without saying a word and continued to advise, "You are already so strong, there is no need to stay in seclusion all day long. If you can come out of the mountain to protect the human race, then the prosperity of the human race will surely be around the corner, and there is no need to be bullied again." Chen Sheng rolled his eyes, afraid that the Suiren clan was thinking of farting. How can he still protect the human race as a cheap commodity like him? He said straightforwardly, "Nowadays, in the midst of chaos and chaos, I am a great Luo realm. If I get caught up in cause and effect, I will be beaten to death in just a few minutes. I was able to teach that little Palace Maid a lesson just now, but it was also because her footwork was too shallow." Suiren is speechless. Is Chen Daoyu joking? Can the guy who can easily exile Nyuhua be beaten to death when he goes out? Also, the little palace maid you just scolded is really not a little palace maid. She is the saint of Nyuhua whom everyone admires. Suiren didn't want to explain to Chen Sheng anymore, sighed, and continued to plead with Chen Sheng, saying, "Ah, Chen Daoyu, don't hide your foolishness anymore. Our human race is inherently deficient and has been bullied in the wilderness." Chen Sheng. How could Chen Sheng not know the current situation of the human race? What's the use of him passing the level? Are you looking for death? The Suiren clan didn't give up yet and continued to mutter, "If you can protect the human race will definitely give back to you." Chen Sheng was a bit annoyed by the chatter of the Suiren clan. He couldn't let the Suiren clan chatter on like this anymore. He decided to send them away first. Taoist friend. The Suiren clan was interrupted by Chen Sheng, thinking that Chen Sheng agreed to protect the human race and immediately showed a happy expression. Chen Sheng felt very helpless in his heart, but on the surface, he played a serious trick and said, "I suddenly remembered that there is a divine grass in my cave that can surely bless the human race." Before Suiren could react, Chen Sheng immediately ran back to the cave and casually pulled out a weed from the ground. Suiren looked at the weed still carrying soil in Chen Sheng's hand and was stunned. Isn't this really something that was pulled out casually? Chen Sheng held the weeds in his hands and said to the Suiren clan with an unusually precious expression, "This is a precious treasure. If you take it back, you will surely be able to protect the human race." Chen Sheng is also very helpless. He is a cheap commodity and even dares not go to the wilderness, sheltering the human race. Chen Sheng took advantage of the stunned moment of the Suiren clan and directly stuffed the weeds into their hands. Then he quickly turned his head back to the cave and closed the door. Suiren clan. Do you think I look like a fool? Is it polite? There is no magic fluctuation on this grass, except for being slightly greener than other grasses. It is not much different from weeds. If Suiren's eyes are fine, isn't this just an ordinary weed? Suiren suspected that Chen Sheng was fooling him, but he couldn't find any evidence. However, Chen Sheng had already turned himself away, and the Suiren clan had no choice but to reluctantly take the grass and return to the territory of the human race. Wait for him to persuade again next time, anyway we live nearby. After Chen Sheng closed the door of the cave, he finally fell silent. Does the Suiren clan always persuade him to leave the border? Does he look like a fool? Later, Chen Sheng looked around his cave. It's a bit shabby. The Chen Sheng cave is extremely dilapidated, and its furnishings are too simple to be replaced by simplicity. What he meditates and cultivates on a daily basis is an old futon. There is also a dan ding in the cave that doesn't look too advanced, a common tea tree that is green all year round, a rusted iron sword, and a broken knife that was cut into two very rough pieces. Chen Sheng couldn't help but sigh. Other people's travel is just picking up all kinds of treasures and feeling weak. How could it be so shabby to come to him? Just these things, not even treasures, a bunch of junk. On the other hand, after fleeing from Shouyang Mountain, Nyuwa returned directly to the Hua Palace. She dodged and dodged all the way to avoid others seeing her disheveled appearance. But sometimes people are strange, the more they hide, the more they become. Nyuwa walked through the main hall. Just as she breathed a sigh of relief, she turned her head and met Fu Shi, who looked at her with a curious expression on her face. Nyuwa felt a bit embarrassed and touched her head, saying, "Cough, big brother, why are you here?" Fu Shi originally came to see Nyuwa, but he stumbled upon Nyuwa sneaking around in the Hua Palace, as if afraid of being caught. The Hua Palace is where Nyuwa lives, and I don't know what Nyuwa is hiding from. Moreover, Nyuwa's appearance was somewhat disheveled, which made Fu Shi feel a bit strange. He asked, "Little sister, where have you been? Why are you so disheveled?" Nyuwa was so embarrassed that she couldn't tell Fu Shi that she had just been imprisoned by a great luo in the river of time, could she? It's so embarrassing. So, she had to pretend to be calm and say vaguely, "It's nothing, big brother. I just went to the world to collect incense." Fu Shi felt a bit strange. If Nyuwa only went to the mortal world to collect incense, why would her actions in the Hua Palace be so abnormal? Fu Shi touched his chin and asked with a curious expression, "Is it really true?" "Of course it's true," replied Nyuwa with a hesitant tone as she dodged her gaze at this moment. She only wanted Fu Shi to let go of his doubts. If Fu Shi continued to ask, how should she evade? If everyone in the wilderness knew that her noble Nyuwa saint had been exiled by Dalai into the river of time, wouldn't it be laughable? No, how could Nyuwa let such a thing happen? She needs to quickly shut down and seek revenge for today after becoming stronger. Fu Shi nodded thoughtfully as he looked at Nyuwa. He didn't believe that the human race would have such a big reaction on a trip. It's really strange. For so many years, Nyuwa has always been proud, how could she show such a panicked expression? Wait, is it because Nyuwa is in love? Yes, yes. Over the years, Nyuwa has never been so impolite. Now that you are a saint, it is even more impossible for you to have such an expression, so it must be her who is in love. Fu Shi pondered for a while, moved by emotions. This won't work. Nyuwa is now a saint and cannot be delayed by her children's private affairs. I went to the human race, is it any innate human race? This is even worse. His sister is a saint, how can she form a Taoist couple with a human race? Immediately, Fu Shi decided that no matter who the person was, if he caught him, he must kill that person to avoid delaying Nyuwa. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Demon Clan Attacks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Demon Clan Attacks. On the other hand, the Suiren clan also returned to the human territory with the weed. The Zi and Yuchao clans were surprised to learn who the Suiren clan had visited with the Nyuwa Empress, so they waited for the Suiren clan to return. Upon seeing the return of the Suiren clan, Empress Nyuwa was nowhere to be found, and both the Zi and Yuchao clans felt a bit strange. "Where is Empress Nyuwa?" asked Lady Zi uncontrollably when Suiren heard the name of Empress Nyuwa. Her face began to look strange. He can't tell the Zi and Yuchao families that Empress Nyuwa was beaten by a hermit of our human race, can he? Losing the dignity of a saint is like losing one's head. The Suiren family had no choice but to dodge and say, "Oh, Empress Nyuwa has a lot of things to do every day, so she naturally doesn't have the time to stay in the territory of the human race." Zi and Yuchao always felt that something was not quite right, but they couldn't say it, so they nodded. Subsequently, the Suiren clan talked to the Zi and Yuchao clans about Chen Sheng's situation, but deliberately did not mention the part involving Nyuwa. The Ji and Yuchao clans were overjoyed to hear that the human race had also become powerful in the realm of Dalai. The Yuchao family couldn't help but ask, with the presence of the Dalai realm, even if there are people from the demon tribe who bully us, we will not be powerless to resist in the future. Upon hearing this, the Suiren clan couldn't help but twitch at the corner of their mouth. Could Daluo, who could exile Nyua, be an ordinary Daluo? Not just being able to resist one or two. If Chen Daoyu can pass the pass, then the human race will be like turning over a surf and singing, okay. However, the Suiren clan only dares to slander a few words in their hearts. The Suiren clan couldn't bear to interrupt the lively discussions between the Zui and Yuchao clans on the planning of the human race. However, as they spoke more and more outrageously, the Suiren clan couldn't help but speak up and say, "It's just that some strong person never wants to leave the pass and only gave me such a plant of grass, saying it can protect the human race." Yuchao. Ge sure. Why didn't you mention such an important matter earlier? The person who caused harm is happy for nothing. They looked at the grass that said it could protect the human race again, but it was all speechless. Are you sure it's not a weed? Both of them were slightly disappointed, and the Suiren clan was also very helpless. They looked at the grass in their hands and planted it in the cave. At this moment, a human race suddenly rushed in with a hurried expression. Suiren suddenly realized something was wrong and quickly asked, "What happened?" The human race gasped for breath and stuttered, "No problem, the demon race is coming with great force. We are launching a massive attack on our human race." Upon hearing these words, Sanzu's face instantly changed. Since the birth of the human race, they have been at the bottom of the wilderness, suffering from humiliation. Since we are in the wilderness, we must follow the survival law of the fittest and the law of the fittest. Therefore, Nyua did not intervene too much in the bullying of the human race. Nyua is a saint. As long as the human race does not face the ultimate disaster, she will not act recklessly. Previously, the human race had been living on Shouyang Mountain. Although they were occasionally oppressed, they still lived and worked in peace and contentment. Since the demon tribe discovered that the human race has delicious meat and can also improve cultivation, they have regarded the human race as blood food. Originally, the demon tribe would still be wary of Empress Nyua, but after learning that Nyua would not interfere, the demon tribe began to act recklessly. The human race has no resistance in front of the powerful demon race and can only be regarded as worthless by the demon race. Zi was furious and frowned, saying, "This demon tribe is really deceiving people too much." The Suiren clan was also a bit panicked and quickly followed the Zi and Yuchao clans out, instructing the clan members to raise the clan protection formation. At this point, the demon clan has arrived outside the clan protection formation in the human territory bar. Watching the human race panic and rise up to protect the clan, the demon race disdains it. They are the demon race. Born powerful like this. The protection formation of the small human race, they still don't take it seriously. The demon tribe, led by them, shouted arrogantly, "Just breaking through the formation and trying to block the path of our demon tribe. It's simply wishful thinking." The human race couldn't help but clench their fists as they looked at the arrogant demon race. Unfortunately, the power of the human race is too small. In front of the demon race who has taken advantage of all the benefits, they cannot resist at all. Suiren frowned and swallowed her anger, asking, "Our human race and the demon race have no grievances or enmities. Why is the demon race so aggressive?" The Suiren clan was not angry, but helpless and could only attempt to reason with the demon clan. Unfortunately, the Suiren clan forgot that in the eyes of the demon race, the human race is food. What is the reason to talk about food? The leader of the demon tribe couldn't help but sneer at the words of the Suiren clan, "Because your human race is naturally weak, you were born to be the food of our demon tribe. Please quickly donate 100,000 human race to us for our food. Today, I will release 1 yard of your human race." Upon hearing the words of the demon tribe, Sanzu's face turned pale with anger. Suiren was furious and frowned fiercely, saying, "Impossible. If you come to our human race today, won't you be afraid of Nyua's blame?" The Suiren clan has no other choice, can't they really hand over the 100,000 human race to the demon race? So I had to bring out the name of Empress Nyua, hoping to use it to suppress the demon race. Unexpectedly, the demon tribe burst into laughter upon hearing the name of Nyua. Ha ha ha, it's really ridiculous. Your food is just your food, can you still rely on Goddess Nyua to protect you? The demon tribe laughed and said with great disdain. At this point, other demon tribes also followed suit. That's right, Empress Nyua is the demon emperor of our demon tribe, protecting you. To be honest with you, Empress Nyua created you just to give us the demon tribe a feast. Do you understand? Once you understand, hurry up and show us the filial piety of the 100,000 human race. Maybe our demon race can give you a longer time. After speaking, the demon clan burst into laughter again, not showing any respect to the others. The human race was filled with grievances, but they couldn't find words to refute the demon race. Suiren tightly clenched her fist and looked at the demon clan with eyes that were about to burst out of flames. Zi frowned and said with a hint of anger, "This damn demon clan, fight against them." After careful consideration, Yu Chao quickly advised, "Don't be impulsive. Do you want our human race to be destroyed by the demon race?" Zi stopped talking, of course she didn't mean that. Seeing that the human race had not answered for a long time, the demon race gradually became impatient and spoke irritably, "If your human race cannot make this decision, then let's wait for our demon race to break through your formation and catch 1,000,000 people to go back and eat." Upon hearing the words of the demon clan, the Suiren clan and others were all shocked. The people also began to panic. "Let me go, my cultivation is not high, and my lifespan is not long. Leave the opportunity to survive to the children." An elderly descendant stood up and said calmly. With the old man speaking, the people of the tribe also became firm from their previous panic. "I'll come. I'm lame, I should give the opportunity to someone with a healthy body. I am willing to be a blind person for everyone's safety. Although I am greedy for life and afraid of death, I am willing to sacrifice myself for the sake of the human race." End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Human Clan in Crisis, Killing Demon Clan with One Strike. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Human Clan in Crisis, Killing Demon Clan with One Strike. Seeing all the members of the clan sacrificing themselves for others, the Suiren clan shed some tears. But he is one of the 3 ancestors of the human race, how could he do such a thing of betraying his people for temporary peace? Moreover, the Suiren clan knew that even if he gave the demon tribe 100,000 people today, the demon tribe would have more excuses not to let go of the human tribe in the future. Rather than compromise like this, it's better to fight back and control life and death by oneself. So, with a resolute expression in her eyes, the Suiren clan calmly said, "Although our human race is born weak, we stand tall and strong. Even if we die, we will not do anything to betray our people." The demon clan couldn't help but laugh when they heard the words of the Suiren clan. Not having enough strength, this sentence sounds like a joke to the demon tribe. Since the human race is going to die, the demon race is certainly fulfilling the human race. After the leader finished laughing, he looked at the human race with a contemptuous expression. Since the human race is so disobedient, don't blame him for taking action. Hands on. If you want to die together, then I will fulfill you. The dignity of the demon race is not to be offended. With the command of the leader, the demon tribe all rushed forward with mockery. In their eyes, the mere human race is like grass, and if they dare to refute their orders, they will inevitably bear their anger. Moreover, with only 100,000 human beings, how can they be enough to fill the teeth of their demon race? The demon race is imposing, and the human race is panicking when they see this. The Suiren clan, but this towering demon tribe, immediately gathered in their hearts and organized a group of humanitarians. Don't panic, as long as we work together, even the demon tribe has no choice. Upon hearing the words of the Suiren clan, all the human race had a backbone and began to work together to rise up in rebellion. However, all of this became a joke in the eyes of the powerful demon race. After all, the power of the human race is too small. Even if the human race desperately resists and opens the protection formation, they cannot withstand the two attacks of the demon race. Bang! The clan protection formation broke down directly, and the air waves even lifted many human tribes out. The other human races also began to lose stability and became somewhat panicked. Seeing this, the demon tribe laughed even more recklessly and said, "Humph, this is the end of going against the demon tribe. You are just a group of ants. It's your honor to make you our demon tribe's food." Faced with the mockery of the demon race, the human race is powerless. Looking at the powerful demon race, many human races were plunged into despair. Now all they can hope for is the goddess Nuwa who created them. Numerous human beings knelt on the ground, desperately begging for the mercy of Empress Nuwa. "Goddess Nuwa, how could you bear to watch my human race being driven away and killed by the demon race, becoming the food of the demon race? Help us, Goddess Nuwa." The demon race seems to be certain that Empress Nuwa will not appear, very recklessly. The person in charge sneered and extended a hand to grab the Swearen clan. Swearen was horrified and kept retreating. He suffered a backlash just now, and now he has no strength to resist. When everyone saw this scene, besides despair, they also had a heart hanging in their hearts, afraid that the Swearen clan would really be killed by the demon clan. Unfortunately, even though they earnestly pleaded, the goddess Nuwa whom they believed in still did not appear. The breath of despair began to permeate the air. Is it true that the human race has come to an end here? Look, the hand of the demon clan is already about to grab the Swearen clan. A glimmer of despair flashed in the eyes of the Swearen clan. Could it be that my Swearen clan's life is exhausted today? It doesn't matter if you die, what should the human race do? Swearen's eyes flickered with a hint of unwillingness, but the hand of the demon clan was already in front of him. The Swearen clan obediently closed their eyes. Is he going to die? At this moment, the weed that Swearen had casually planted in the cave suddenly bloomed with a bright light. The Swearen clan was stabbed by a bright light and couldn't help but think, has she already died? Wait, Swearen reacted and immediately opened her eyes. Then, Swearen saw the weed she had planted in the cave today and started to shine brightly. I saw the weed shining brightly all over its body, surrounded by the principles of the 3,000 great paths, and the charm of the Tao drifted out. Swearen sure was a bit confused, obviously he hadn't realized any situation yet. The person led by the demon clan is stronger than the Swearen clan, and upon seeing this, he instantly understands that there are treasures within the human territory. Thinking of this, a hint of greed flashed in that person's eyes. Looking at the weed in the cave, just by looking at the charm around the weed, you can tell what a treasure it is. He licked his lips, never expecting such a treasure in the hands of such a weak human race. No wonder they dare to resist the demon race, but even if the treasure is in hand, what? In front of a powerful demon race, possessing such a treasure in the human race can only make a man innocent and guilty. Thinking of this, he became even more aggressive in attempting to erase the Swearen clan and seize this precious treasure for himself. But just at this moment, a sharp blade-like light shot out, directly cutting the leader in half. The blood of the demon tribe spilled directly on the ground, and its body became two halves. The people of the human race were all shocked and somewhat stunned, watching this incident. Just now, they were still worried about the Swearen clan, but now they realized that it was the demon clan who killed them. This is truly astonishing. And all the members of the demon clan were also led to their original positions. This lightning-fast incident, let alone the human race, even the demon race couldn't react to what had happened. They only saw a ray of light flash by, and the demon tribe led by them turned into two halves, all of whom were a bit confused. What's even more terrifying is that even if the leader of the demon tribe dies, the other demon tribes can still feel his true spirit. But at this moment, they were shocked to find that under that sharp blade-like light, the true spirit of the demon tribe had also disappeared into the world. The demon clans have lost their arrogance just now, and their faces are full of doubts and fear. That demon tribe is the strongest among them, even he has died. How dare the remaining demon tribes continue to make mistakes? The demon tribe that died was the cultivation of Tai Golden Immortal, who had already condensed his golden body. 2 of the 3 flowers on top had already bloomed, and he was only 1 step away from the Luo Golden Immortal. Even in the midst of the wilderness, this demon can be considered a pillar of strength, and in the demon race, it naturally holds a high position of power. But now, he died on this unknown hitter. It's unbelievable. End of this chapter.